If you want to know how to get more tomatoes from your tomato plants, then this video is going to help. Years ago, when I started growing tomatoes, I would get loads and loads and loads and loads of leaves and just a few tiny tomatoes. But when I switched my pruning habits, when I used the pruning tips and hacks I'm about to share with you in this video, my tomato growing game completely changed. And so today, I want to show you my pruning hacks and tips so that you get more tomatoes from your plants this season. So if you're growing a determinate tomato, most of the tips I'm going to give you right now aren't going to matter. When you're growing an indeterminate tomato, you want to pay attention first to the base of the plant. This needs to happen right at the time of planting and in the first few weeks. You want the plant to only have one main stem at the base. Now you may be watching this video and say, Nicole, my plant's been in the garden for a month now. It's got way more stems at the base than I can count. Well, just leave some of those. I'll show you how to pull a few of them out of the way. But if you're just getting started, then you want to come to the base of the plant and you want to locate the main stem. And then you want to prune away all of the extra stems. So the reason why we do this is, one, to create a stronger plant. If the plant doesn't have to have all these different vines coming out of the main stem, then you're going to have this really nice one main strong stem that can support tons of outer growth, lots of vines, and a ton of fruit. So that's step one. As soon as you get the plant established and in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the plant starting to grow, you want to prune heavily at the base of the plant and keep the plant from producing all these side shoots and new stems, and instead really working hard to establish a really nice main thick stem that we can build this huge plant off of so that it can hold, sustain, grow, and feed loads and loads of tomatoes. Now let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2, once a week, hear me out, once a week, you're gonna come to the base of your tomato plant and you're gonna slowly prune your way up to the top. Now we only prune a third of the plant's leaves away once a week, no more than a third. You could do a little bit less, but no more. Hear me out, no more. We need the canopy of leaves to protect the plant and to shelter the fruit as it grows. But we do want to remove these lower leaves because they're taking energy from the plant and we need that energy to go toward fruiting. I'll start to prune away, and you may be asking, well, Nicole, what stems do we prune away? So I look here for the main thick stem and I find the perpendicular stem from that main stem. So here it is, it's going straight across. And this will never fruit. It is just a leafy stem, so it's gotta go. It did its job, it photosynthesized, it helped the plant create food so that it could grow to the next level, but it's no longer necessary to keep the plant growing. Now the plant can put all of its energy toward the top of the plant and creating more fruit clusters just like these below. Step 3 is to leave the suckers. Yes, that's what I said, leave the suckers. Now this is going to be an unpopular opinion. All the gardeners out there are probably going to say to get those suckers off your plants, but not me. I like to keep them. Let me tell you why. So what is a sucker? A sucker is basically a tomato recreating itself, creating a new vine that if pulled out and planted alone would turn into a brand new tomato plant, which means each and every sucker will produce fruit. So a sucker grows right in the middle of the main stem and a perpendicular branch. So this branch is a non-fruiting branch. It's just got leaves on it. And right in the center here, in the little diagonal going, what is that, 45 degrees, is the sucker, all right? So you take suckers away in order to get bigger fruit, because when those suckers are growing off the vine, they're gonna take more energy, right? Because they're gonna be growing up, they're gonna have their own leaves, their own stems, their own fruit, which means you'll get lots of more energy sent through those suckers. So the gardeners, the farmers who want really big tomatoes, they're gonna pull the suckers so that all the energy goes to making those tomatoes as big as possible. For me, again, I'm not that kind of gardener and I'm also not that kind of cook. I'm not looking for a huge tomato. I'm looking for more tomatoes because for me, more is more. So a sucker is going to maximize the amount of tomatoes I can get over an entire growing season. So for me, I'm going to leave the sucker, but I am still going to prune. And the way I prune is I actually take off this perpendicular stem. Boom. So I take off all the stems that are producing leaves, but not fruit. So I leave the sucker right here so that I can get more fruit from each of those little vines. So step 3 is all about the suckers. Me, I leave them above 2 feet off the plant, and the other farmers, gardeners, they take them off. So you get to decide, but if you want to do it my way, then leave those suckers. Step 4, and we are nowhere near ready for this yet this season, is to top off your tomatoes. So at the end of the season, when you're about a month away from your first frost of the season, you want to top your tomatoes. Now, I don't have any tomatoes growing up this high yet, but what I would do is simply take my pruners and just cut off the top of each of those vines. If there's ever a time to pinch the suckers, the end of the season is the time to do that as well. In fact, you could start pinching the suckers about 6 to 8 weeks before your first frost. So why do we top off the plants? Why do we pinch the suckers at the end? Because all the fruit on our vines, and there's gonna be a whole lot, need some time to ripen and to grow to full maturity. And so by topping off the plant, we're telling the plant to stop getting bigger. Remember, these are indeterminate vines. They want to grow forever. So when we top off our plants, we tell the plant, stop growing bigger, stop making more leaves and vines, and finish what you started. Finish all the fruit, get it as big as possible, and ripen it before frost comes. So to do this, you just grab your pruners. You'll come right to the top of the tomato, wherever that branch is, and you're literally just going to clip it off right there at the top. That's going to stop the growth and direct the plant's energy to finishing off the tomatoes. And that's it. Those are my 4 steps to getting more tomatoes from your plants than you ever have before. Step 1, create a really strong base with just one main stem. Step 2, prune the lower leaves, 1/3 of the leaves, every single week. 3, leave the suckers. Let those continue to grow. They'll produce more fruit for you, and more is more. And step 4, top off your plants about a month before your first frost. So if you're ready to take your tomato growing to the next level, you've got to watch my entire series on growing tomatoes on an arch trellis. I'll tell you how many to plant, how to plant them, how to prune them, and how to get more tomatoes when you're growing on an arch. You can start watching that series right here after this video. And if you want help to know what to plant and when to plant it, you've got to check out the Gardenary calendar. It's free, F-R-E-E, gardenary.com/calendar. Put in 2 dates, we'll tell you all the rest, and you'll know when to plant your tomatoes and when you're gonna start getting fruit from them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.